From the Statehouse in Trenton, New Jersey, this is Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Jill Horner, and with me is New Jersey State Assemblywoman Marlene Caride. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We're talking about something that really has reached epidemic proportions here in New Jersey and in other parts of the country as well, and that's heroin and other opiates as well. You have a variety of pieces of legislation related to this, but talk to us about the scope of the issue that the state is facing.
We're at a point where we have an epidemic. We have students, college students, high school students who have picked up on heroin. They've become addicted. Their family members don't know what to do. And every day you pick up a newspaper and you read about a young person's death. It's not even an addiction where they're trying to get help, it's a death. So that's a wasted life that we have there. So the purpose of the bills that I've introduced is to try to save these young kids. They're our future. So we have to do everything possible to try to save them.
And let's focus on how this actually happens, because a variety of issues are associated with prescription drugs as well, in terms of opiates, painkillers, people getting them for legitimate purposes, but then becoming addicted and then eventually turning to heroin. You have a bill that would monitor prescriptions and ask for daily downloads from pharmacies. What would that mean?
See, right now, the prescription monitoring program requires pharmacies to download information, anyone who has gotten a prescription for a painkiller, or I should say for a Schedule II opiate. They do that every 15 days. Unfortunately, there's that window of days so that a doctor who goes on the system won't know if their patient already has a prescription. So this will help them to determine whether or not to issue a new prescription or not. So by having a daily download, it is pretty much the closest we can get to real time, and that's a big help. There was a task force that was put together by the state, and they came out with a report, and just 2 days ago they came out with an updated report. Things have not improved, they've gotten worse. So their recommendations is to try to have a program where the pharmacies are downloading the information as close to real time as possible. So once a day I think would be something that will get us there.
And doctors would then have access to this information. You also have another bill, Assembly Bill 2831, and it reduces the threshold associated with heroin, meaning the weight at which someone could be charged and the penalties associated with those weights.
Correct. And again, this is all part of the special report that came out, the recommendations. Unfortunately, the heroin weighs very little, so you can't put the same type of threshold for other drugs because the weight is an issue. So by reducing the weight almost by half, an individual who walks around with a little bag, several little bags to sell them, will now be able to be picked up on a real charge, on a serious charge at the Superior Court level. So by reducing the weight limit, we have now moved everything, we've kicked everything up a degree so that a matter that might have been a disorderly persons in a municipal court will wind up in Superior Court. Wind up being a second or a first offense, and the whole purpose of that bill is to get to the source, the dealers.
And when we talk about that, though, by targeting these lower level offenders, does that ever get to these higher level offenders, meaning distributors?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. By lowering the threshold, yes, there will be some individuals that are probably addicts who what they need is medical attention, help. But hopefully by lowering the threshold, we'll be able to get to the dealers, because they're not going to walk around with one little bag, they're going to walk around with a few bags. And that will give us the weight to be able to then charge them properly and have to face the consequences at the Superior Court level. Now, Ocean County and Bergen County are now doing things differently, and they're charging with strict liability also.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We've been talking with New Jersey State Assemblywoman Marlene Caride. I'm Jill Horner for Comcast Newsmakers at the Statehouse in Trenton.